My Utmost for His Highest. Author Oswald Chambers, 1935. This copy, 1992. Isn't there some misunderstanding? Let us go to Judea again, the disciples said to him. Are you going there again? John 11, 7 through 8. Just because I don't understand what Jesus Christ says, I have no right to determine that he must be mistaken in what he says. That is a dangerous view, and it is never right to think that my obedience to God's directive will bring dishonor to Jesus. The only thing that will bring dishonor is not obeying him. To put my view to his honor ahead of what he is plainly guiding me to do is never right, even though it may come from a real desire to prevent him from being put to open shame. I know when the instructions have come from God because they're quite persistent. But when I begin to weigh the pros and cons and doubt and debate enter my mind, I am bringing in an element that is not God. There will be no result in my concluding that his instructions to me were not right. Many of us are faithful to our ideas about Jesus Christ. But how many of us are faithful to Jesus himself? Faithfulness to Jesus means that I must step out even when and where I can't see anything. See Matthew 14:29. But faithfulness to my own ideas means that I first clear the way mentally. Faith, however, is not intellectual understanding. Faith is a deliberate commitment to the person of Jesus Christ, even when I can't see the way ahead. Are you debating whether you should take a step of faith in Jesus, or whether you should wait until you can clearly see how to do what he has asked? Simply obey him with unrestrained joy. When he tells you something and you begin to debate, it is because you have a misunderstanding of what honors him and what doesn't. Are you faithful to Jesus or faithful to your ideas about him? Are you faithful to what he says, or are you trying to compromise his words with thoughts that never came from him? Whatever he says to you, do it. John 2:5. Our Lord's surprise visits. You also be ready. Luke 12:40. Christian workers' greatest need is a readiness to face Jesus Christ at any and every turn. This is not easy, no matter what our experience has been. The battle is not against sin, difficulties, or circumstances, but being so absorbed in our service to Jesus Christ that we are not ready to face Jesus himself at every turn. The greatest need is not facing our beliefs or doctrines, or even facing the question of whether or not we are of use to him, but the need is to face him. Jesus rarely comes where we expect him. He appears where we least expect him, and always in the most illogical situations. The only way a servant can remain true to God is to be ready for the Lord's surprise visits. This readiness will not be brought about by service, but through intense spiritual reality, expecting Jesus Christ at every turn. This sense of expectation will give our life the attitude of childlike wonder he wants it to have. If we are going to be ready for Jesus Christ, we have to stop being religious. In other words, we must stop using religion as if it were some kind of lofty lifestyle, and we must be spiritually real. If you are avoiding the call of the religious thinking of today's world, and instead are looking unto Jesus, Hebrews 12:2, setting your heart on what he wants and thinking his thoughts, you will be considered impractical and a daydreamer. But when he suddenly appears in the work of the heat of the day, you will be the only one who is ready. You should trust no one, and even ignore the finest saint on the earth if he blocks your sight of Jesus Christ.